So hello, I'm Julia Hanmer. I'm Chief Executive of BSBI, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today to give you an update on BSBI's recent projects and our plans for the future, particularly in Scotland, but also beyond in our wider work across Britain and Ireland. So it's a very exciting time for us at BSBI with the launch of Plant Atlas 2020 this year. We're seeing BSBI science, our data, our members making a unique contribution to the evidence and action needed to ensure that wild plants are understood and are valued. And we're seeing that evidence as well shaping and helping prioritise efforts to conserve those wild plants. So I'm going to take you through some updates against our three strategic goals. And the first one is building a diverse community of botanists to sustain and develop the skills base. And training is absolutely key to building and supporting the botanical community. And we're very fortunate here in Scotland in having a fantastic Scottish Outreach Committee and all the work that they do. And this includes leading field events for beginner botanists and also workshops for beginners on wildflower families, on introduction to grasses, introduction to ferns. And also this year, the Scottish Outreach Committee also led a bespoke training workshop for Historic Environment Scotland rangers and volunteers at Holyrood Park. So that was a new initiative, and we'd like to do more of that in future as well. So huge thanks to everyone involved, the committee and the volunteers who led and tutored or helped out on all of those events and field meetings. It's fantastic to see all that you've done. The Scottish Outreach Committee is looking for more people to get involved in their work, and Faith Anstey has an exhibition in the hall where she'd love to talk to you more about how you can get involved. We also have been very fortunate to have other training here in Scotland, and a huge thanks to Angus Hanmer for the brambles workshop that he's led again, an introduction to brambles followed by a separate 2-day workshop to get to grips with some really thorny subject matter. And then in wider BSBI, we've taken on running Identiplant. This is a very popular plant identification course for beginners in serious botany, with modules and practical work throughout the field season. And I did it last year, and I can really highly recommend it. It's just such a fabulous introduction to the plant families and to learning your botany. Participants often go on to become long-standing botanists. I hope I will too through that. 199 students took part this year, and we had 42 tutors. We're looking to expand our coverage each year, and we recently piloted a workshop in Scotland to recruit more Identiplant tutors, which was very successful. And that led to a follow-up online workshop where we had 40 people sign up to and attend. And many more tutors have signed up for next year as a result of this. So huge thanks to Brenda Harold, who with the Identiplant management team has developed the Identiplant course and passed it on to BSBI and is still involved in helping manage. And also huge thanks to all the Identiplant tutors for all the work you do tutoring the course. If you're interested in doing an Identiplant course in 2024, there is a poster in the hall, and you can also register your interest on our website now, and applications for places on the 2024 course open on the 1st of December. We're also planning over the summer, we're planning an Identiplant and student tutor and student field meeting next summer as well. So that'll be an exciting new development. Also on the training and engagement, Amanda Tuke from our Skills and Training Committee has led a group who've piloted urban pavement walks to engage beginner botanists from diverse backgrounds in botany. And she and the group she led have piloted these walks in 3 different places, in London and in Scunthorpe. And as a result of that, they produced some guidance and tips to encourage the rest of you to try out leading some pavement walks in your local area. So I would encourage you to have a look at those. They're on the events page of our website. And Amanda will be presenting the results of the pilot at our British and Irish Botanical Conference, which is coming up on the 2nd of December in Newcastle. So there'll be more about all of that at that conference too, and it will also be recorded if you can't make it in person. So another key area in building the botanical community is having the right support in place for that community. And we've had a fair few changes in our country support team over the past year. So I wanted to give you an update on the team and their roles. So you know Matt Harding now. Matt's our Scotland officer. He supports Scottish botanists and recorders day to day. And he's done a fantastic job this year in meeting many of you, leading many events and getting involved in all our activities, getting to know you better, and including on this conference. Then James Harding Morris is our country support manager, so he leads the team. And James's role is to put in place support across Britain and Ireland for our county recorders everywhere. And he and the team are developing guidance and support and other resources for county recorders. And they would be really happy to have any suggestions or ideas for future guidance or ideas for improvement that would help support county recorders. We've also welcomed 2 new staff in Ireland this year. So Bridget Keehan has joined as our Ireland officer. She's taken over from Paul Green, who's retiring. And then also we have a new project with Jen Farrer, who many of you know because she has been based in Scotland for many years, but she's returned to Northern Ireland where she grew up and is now our Northern Ireland Botanical Skills Officer on a new project which is about building skills and evidence in Northern Ireland and teaching plant identification, field recording skills, and getting more people engaged in recording and particularly also in the National Plant Monitoring Scheme in Northern Ireland, which I'll be telling you a little bit more about in a minute. So those are our country support roles. And then also there's Chantel Helm, who joined us in January as our training coordinator. And Chantel leads particularly on FISC, our fields, our botanical skills assessments and Identiplant, the courses that I was just talking about. So that's our country support team. And now I'm going to move on to our second goal, which is the science and data, providing the high quality, impartial data and interpretation for research and to help address biodiversity loss and climate change. And of course, the major thing this year has been the publication of the Atlas. And we've had 2 talks about this morning, so I'm not going to go in detail, but it's just fantastic to have both the website, the Plant Atlas website, which Pete Stroh is giving a workshop about this afternoon, and is a fantastic resource to have all of the data online, and the 2-volume book as well, and then also the summary of what's happened, which Matt was summarising for Scotland earlier. And this was only possible because of all the dedication and expertise and time and effort put in by thousands of you across the country. So thank you so much for all you've done. And thanks to that, we have this amazing picture of the state of our nation's flora and how it's changed. And this provides a really powerful evidence base for policy, conservation and research. And we're really keen that we should maximise the use of this for nature recovery in the decades ahead. And I'm going to give you 2 examples now of how we're going about doing that and putting plants' needs at the heart of land use decision making. The first is red lists. So red lists are an assessment of threat status based on internationally recognised IUCN criteria. And the GB, the Great Britain Red List for plants, the last one was published in 2005 by Cheffings and Farrell, and it was based on the previous BSBI Atlas dataset, the second Atlas dataset. And now we have the, thanks to everyone's efforts, we have the amazing third Atlas dataset, and we've got a verified dataset to update this GB red list of status. And we'll be comparing the data from the 80s and 90s with the data from 2000 to 2019. And Natural England have generously provided funding for us at BSBI to work with UKCEH on this project. And Pete Stroh, who's here at the conference, can tell you more about the work that we're doing on it. We're working on it this year and next year, and we aim to publish the new GB Red List by March 2025. And then after that, we will be thinking about country red lists, but of course it all depends on whether we have funding to do it within each country. So that's the first example. The second example of putting plants' needs in the heart of land use decisions is botanical heat maps. And we've developed these in partnership with Natural England using, again, our amazing data set and supported by the Natural Capital and Ecosystem Assessment Programme. And these heat maps were developed to ensure that trees are planted in the right place rather than in the wrong places, like the ploughed bog in this picture. But they're being used now in a wide range of projects as a tool to target positive conservation measures and to ensure that land use decisions cause no harm to species-rich open habitats that are important for biodiversity and carbon storage. And although we developed these in England, we want to extend them to other countries, and we've had very positive discussions with NatureScot about working with them to extend the approach to Scotland. So we hope to hear more about that in the new year. So what's next after the Atlas? I hear you ask, and Kevin Walker, our head of science, has been working hard on developing our 5-year science strategy. And he led a consultation with our members and partners over the summer, which had 250 responses, which was fantastic. And you can see some of the results here that showing that you know, the impacts of climate change, non-native invasive alien species come high on the list. And this winter we'll be using we'll be finalising our new strategy and using that consultation feedback to plan our new science projects and surveys for the next 5 years. So another exciting thing that we've been doing over this last year is testing the new BSBI recording app. This is an app that will allow you to enter data on mobile devices in the field, and then it will get uploaded to our plant distribution database. It's in a holding space, just like I record data for county recorders to verify. So we're refining it. You can see here is an early test of, there's Tom with Kevin Walker and Pete Stroh and Tom Humphrey looking at an early version of the app. And we've had lots of help with testing it over the summer. And we're going to be releasing it for the recording season next year. But I wanted to just show you a few screenshots of the app in progress. So you can see the sorts of things that it can do. Couple of early slides here, and it'll be released next year. We're also working on developing other methods for direct data uploads to our distribution database as well. So one key project that will continue in our science work is very much being a partner within the National Plant Monitoring Scheme, because continuing to collect distributing data is vital, but also it's vital alongside that to have robust long-term monitoring programs, tracking trends in relation to habitats and the key drivers of change. And the National Plant Monitoring Scheme is a great example of a structured long-term monitoring program. And it's run in partnership with JNCC, Plant Life, UKCH, and ourselves across the UK. And volunteers survey plant species found in 11 different UK habitat types to better understand the abundance and diversity of these species and the health of those habitats. And we really would love to have more people taking part in the NPMS surveys. And you can see on the map here of Scotland, I'm sorry, I had to sort of cut it in half to fit it on my slide, but you can see the blue squares are where we're looking for more surveyors. The yellow ones are where we've got surveyors in place. Thank you very much for those of you who already are surveying squares for the NPMS. If you are interested, there's lots of training and resources and support. Do head over to the NPMS website. Got a link there for more information, or do get in touch with one of our staff and we can point you in the right direction as well. So that's a summary of our science and data. Finally, our third goal is disseminating information to drive a passion for plants, our communications engagement work. And we've had a brilliant wide range of field events this summer, fantastic opportunities for learning, networking and dissemination of information. Many thanks to all of you who lead and organise these events. For our indoor events, we're often still recording the talks like we are at this conference, so do head over to our YouTube channel to see more recordings of all the different talks and events that we've had. Our handbooks are now available as ebooks for the first time, as well as paper printed handbooks. And Liz Kungu, our handbooks editor, is here at the conference, and she would be delighted to talk to you if you're interested in working on a handbook. We're looking particularly for authors and proofreaders, but we're also looking for ideas for the future, both topics for handbooks, but also, ideas of potential authors that we could approach for them. And if you're interested in thinking about becoming an author, you can work collaboratively with the experts. So you could work with a referee or another expert on the subject, especially if it maybe a mini handbook for a smaller species group, taxon group. So do talk to Liz if you'd like more information about the handbooks. And then on communications, we continue to work to raise the profile of wild plants and botany. And we've recently started publishing rare finds to encourage and celebrate plant recording. And if you know of exciting plant finds in your county, do let Matt know. And he'll work with the comms team to spread the word to our media contacts. And on social media, we're present on a really growing number of platforms. I won't comment on what's happening with X, Twitter, but we're still there, very much present. But we're also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we've recently moved also to have a presence on TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky. If you're thinking of getting involved in social media, want to dip your toe into the water, Louise Marsh, our communications officer, has lots of guidance and she'd be very happy to support you in that. And membership is fantastic that so many of you here are members, some new, some long term. We've had a 15% growth in our Scottish membership this year. And you can see some of the trends there. We've also got some really good coverage in some counties, but other counties where we really want to get more members in. So for those of you who are not members yet, who are here, we would love to welcome you to the Society. Do join us, as well as benefiting from the best access to our activities and our publications and events. Your support really makes a difference to the conservation of wild plants here in Scotland. For those of you who are already a member, you might like to consider joining a BSBI committee. which is so vital for planning and organising our work. And we have vacancies on a number of our different committees, so do talk to the staff or the other trustees here. Meetings are generally held online, so they're accessible or hybrid. And it's a great chance to learn as you get involved in a committee and also to meet more fellow botanists. We would really welcome your interest. Do get in touch with me if you're interested. And finally, BSBI is really, really fortunate in the huge amount of time and effort volunteered by our members across the society and in all sorts of different ways, many of which I've touched on in my talk. And last year, to help recognise this, we introduced some new awards for contributions to botany. And a huge congratulations to Michael Phillip, who got one of the first of these awards. And this year, in our trustee annual report, we've done the first attempt to estimate the value of all the time that everyone is putting in to BSBI and our work. And we found there's over 20 types of volunteering, over 11,000 days volunteered, and that we've valued it's worth £1.57 million those hours, which is 3.5 times our overall financial turnover. So it just shows the amount of scale and reach that we're achieving through all your volunteering. So we really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for all you do. This has been a very brief update on our recent work and future plans. Thank you so much to our members, our partners, funders, and everyone involved in botany for the unique contribution you make to the evidence, the action needed to ensure that wild plants thrive and are valued. Thank you very much.